Hi Aquarius, welcome. I'm Joy and this is Taurus Tours Tarot, and we are getting an energy read for you, Aquarius. So we're just kind of trying to tap in and see what the messages are for you. So let's see what we got here. Some big changes for sure. Some kind of a little bit heavy energy coming through. Perhaps some endings, or wouldn't be surprised if like the world fell out. Endings are always lead to new beginnings. Yeah, let's see what else. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, definitely a lot of sword energy coming through. And yeah, we have the Tower, we have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Wands. So yeah, I definitely was feeling like some heaviness, right? I mean, this guy is carrying this load of sticks, and I keep hearing burdensome. Like something has been heavy on your mind and has been feeling like a burden a bit. So also what's coming through is like with my hesitation, I kept hearing burden, but I was very hesitant to say burden. And so I'm really feeling like perhaps that it is something that you feel partly obligated to do. And so, I'm sorry, like things are just coming in. If I feel like it has to do with a child and caring for a child, or perhaps it's an adult child that you're caring for, or your adult child's child, or something like that. But it feels like you don't want to use the word burden, because it's almost like you feel like you are obligated and that you should be helping, or you should be carrying this weight, whatever it is. But at the same time, what you feel is what you feel, and what you're feeling is that it's very heavy for you. You're feeling like it's burdensome. You are not enjoying it. Yeah, and I'm not sure why, but it does feel like childcare, or perhaps even caring for a parent. Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah. So an example of that could be definitely with a lot of schools being out. Having to care for children, having and perhaps it's even that you're working at home and your children are also at home, and that just feels really heavy for you. Like you should be glad to have your children at home because you get to spend a lot more time with them. But the reality of it is that when you're trying to work and trying to take care of them at the same time, that can be very stressful. So something to that effect that I'm feeling from this card for sure. And perhaps it's leading to a Tower moment. I'm not really sure. The Tower card came out first and this card came out last, but I felt like the Ten of Wands I had to address right away. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure where that's going to lead, but between that we have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. And so I just got the message that there's some truth that needs to be spoken here about this. Yeah, you can't continue like this. You can't continue holding on to a feeling of being burdened, but then not speak your truth and not say anything about it because of a sense of obligation that you also feel. And so there's some kind of reckoning that needs to, there's some kind of reconciling that needs to happen. There's these two, they have to somehow come together. And and perhaps this is here as a warning card. Of course, the tower is not really, oh, sorry about the lighting. The tower is not really something that we need to be afraid of. It does look pretty ominous, right? With the building on fire and lightning and people falling out of the building. Of course, it does seem a little scary, but I'm really feeling this as is like a warning for you to really stand up and speak your truth, to really somehow make peace with this that you're feeling and be able to speak up about it. Because if not, the results could feel pretty disastrous, right? On the other hand, and this is making sense now, on the other hand, when you do speak up about it in a very honest and vulnerable way, what happens is that you will come to really see the value of speaking your truth, right? And really understand that holding on to it, holding on to your feelings and what you feel like you have to say out of some false sense of obligation or something like that, can be very detrimental. I think what happens, or what tends to happen when you are feeling this sort of heaviness, right? This burden, this weight on your shoulders, is that you begin, and then you don't have an avenue to express it and share it with someone. You begin to get very resentful, right? And so I'm thinking about the example of having to do childcare, right? So perhaps maybe you're taking care of your own children at home, and perhaps your partner is still going out to work. You are working from home, and your children are also home, and it's very difficult for you, but like maybe perhaps people are saying like, oh, lucky you get to work at home, but they're not fully understanding how challenging it really is, and so therefore you feel almost like it's necessary to just kind of zip your mouth up about it, and like you're telling yourself, oh, I should be grateful, but yet you're having all of these feelings of that are definitely not of gratitude. And so it's important to really examine that and where that's coming from, what it's all about. Those feelings don't come up for no reason at all, and perhaps they are old feelings that you need to resolve and transmute, and that are being triggered, or perhaps it really is the current situation that is very challenging for you. And so maybe you do need to speak to your partner about it, and ask your partner in a very open and honest and vulnerable way, if there is some solution that you can come to, so that you don't feel so burdened, so that you can feel, in a state of gratitude of being able to spend more time with your children, or, whatever it is, right? And that really is is going to be very beneficial for you, in the sense that it's almost going to be like this affirmation, that of how important it is for you to speak up and speak your truth, right? I think that, like, personally, a challenge that I had as I was learning this was that I would hold it in for so long. I would hold on to it for so long, that when it was time for it to come out in a very mature and responsible way, it didn't. It came out like blah, like word vomit, and anger and resentment, and when you try to speak your truth in at that point when you're already feeling angry and resentful, it's hard for the other person to hear you, or the other group, or whatever it may be. It's hard for them to hear you when you are, when you have all of this emotion attached to it. Yeah. And so, this is really saying that it's important for you to harness this energy of the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, like, she doesn't take any crap, right? But yet at the same time, she's able to really like cut through the BS, and just speak matter of factly, which is interesting because I really see this as a skill that Aquarius is good at. So it's interesting that this is coming up. But yeah, like, definitely, like, just cut through, the emotion. You don't have to have any attachment to it whatsoever. And just speak matter of factly about it. Like, hey, I need to tell you that I've been really struggling with XYZ, and I've been really feeling like, ABC, and, what do you think we can do about it? How do you think we can kind of come together and find a resolution, right? That's the Queen of Swords. So definitely try and harness this energy, because it's going to really bring you to a place where you feel confident and able in speaking truth, and it is going to allow you to really let go of this this heaviness that you've been feeling, for sure. And then and also avoid the Tower, right? Like, this is really saying, like, whatever it is you have to say, like, communicate it in a very mature, clear, honest, open, vulnerable way, as opposed to letting this build up, not saying anything, holding on to it until you reach this point where you just like explode. And what comes out of your mouth is so much about emotion and so not about what you're trying to really say, and where you're trying to really get to. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you. Yeah, it's definitely a skill. It requires some practice. It requires some confidence in yourself, for sure, and some belief that what you feel and what you have to say is important, and it is, right? If you are feeling something uncomfortable and heavy, regardless of what it is, regardless of whether people think that you are supposed to feel gratitude for it, even though you really absolutely don't, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are always valid. And your feelings are important because they really do communicate to you that something is happening and something needs to be addressed, right? Especially if they are like lower vibrational feelings that are like nagging at you. That's really telling you that that there is something to be said and that something needs to change. Okay, so do not ever feel like if you are feeling this heaviness, but others outside of you are almost communicating to you that you shouldn't, don't ever believe that. If you feel something, you feel it. Okay, and maybe you're feeling it because of a misunderstanding, and so that in that way it's difficult for other people to really understand why you're feeling that way. But regardless, that's a misunderstanding that needs to be cleared up, okay, so that you don't have to feel that burden anymore. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, I mean, that is what it is, Aquarius. So I hopefully it makes sense for you, and hopefully you are able to communicate in a way that people can hear you, and in a way that you can feel like you've come to some some reconciliation with whatever is happening and with whatever you're feeling. Okay, best of luck to you. Aloha and namaste.